Hello, Buki. There are some names I'm seeing there. Zachariah Didam on the chat room. I don't know. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Do we have all the contestants with us in on the platform, please? Do we have all of them with us right now? We're still waiting. Please, can you all hear me? Just to be certain that I am audible.
I can hear you loud and clear.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, just want to be sure, testing as well. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Very loud and clear.
Oh, 11 o'clock on the dot. Okay. Good morning. To all the Electoral Committee members, I would like to kickstart this session by welcoming everyone, my dear professional colleagues, members of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, our current president and contestant, Mr. Olusegun Mojid, FCIPM, the vice chairman, the vice president of our institute, Mr.
Henry Onuapo.
Mr. Henry Onuapo. Thank you. MCIPM, the national treasurer of our institute, Mrs. Chidima Obiejesi, MCIPM. Our moderator for the day, Mitchell Agor, the IT team, and all stakeholders. Welcome you to this morning's event, the 2022 virtual debate for the contestants into leadership of our dear Institute. Today's event would feature contestants for the President and Chairman of Council of our Institute, the Vice President, and the National Treasurer. I will right now hand you over to the moderator for today, Michelle Agor, to take over this session. Thank you for joining us. Please continue to be with us. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Lady Oji. I do appreciate you for that opening remark and for starting this very interesting debate for us. Again, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Michelle Ago, a radio presenter at Lagos Talks 91.3, and it's a pleasure to be hosting this very interesting virtual debate of this prestigious institution. As we all know, while we're here, this is a virtual debate that would see the following people share with us their manifestos, share with us their plans for the institutes, and also run us through some of the achievements they have been able to accomplish in the past 1 year. This is going to be very interesting. I do understand that there are no opposers with this session, but I would like every participant to bring their best foot forward as we expect to take this institution to the next level. So with me, I'll be hearing from the president and chairman of CIPM, Mr. Olusegun Mojeed, the current president, FCIPM, Mr. Henry Onuapo, vice president, MCIPM, and Mrs. Chidima Obiejesi, MCIPM, who is the national treasurer. Now, each contestant has about 40 minutes to share with us what they'll be doing, but I'll break it down. The first 10 minutes will be for the manifestos, where you speak on your manifestos. You tell us what you have been able to achieve in the past 12 months. Run us through your plans and goals and objectives for the next 12 months. That will be for just 10 minutes, please. And then we have 15 minutes for you, where I'll be asking questions fairly put together by the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, and also additional 10 minutes for the Q&A session. Now, I'd like to encourage every participant and the audience here to please use the Q&A box. Questions will not be taken from the chat box or the chat room. Kindly send your questions or inquiries to the Q&A box. That'll be for 10 minutes. And the last 5 minutes will be for your final thoughts. So first of all, I'd like to introduce Mr. Olusegun Mojeed, the current president, FCIPM, to take the floor, run us through his manifestos and his plans for the next 10 minutes. Mr. Mojeed, you have the floor. Your time starts now.
Okay, good morning, esteemed colleagues. Good morning, distinguished professionals. And good morning, everyone on this call, ladies and gentlemen.
Kindly turn on your video, please.
It keeps saying that the host has disabled me. You cannot start your video because the host has disabled it. Peter.
Peter, please, could you check that quickly? Thank you.
I want to believe my 10 minutes has not started, Michelle.
It'll start as soon as you turn on your video.
I want to believe I'm back. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you, our president.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Peter.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Kindly turn on your video now.
You cannot start your video because the host has disabled it. That's
Peter,
what it's still saying.
Peter, please, can you do something about that
Same,
immediately. Please.
the National Treasurer is saying the same at her end.
Okay. Okay, noted. The IT team is working on that.
Thank you very much. So, meanwhile, let's just go on, and I just
Yes,
want
please.
to say first and foremost, thank you, CIPM. Thank you, our esteemed members, for the opportunity you gave us about 11 months ago. We'll come back to that. If there's any question, why 11 months? We'll come back to that. But I want to say thank you. Thank you. This team, 11 months ago, ran on the basis of MIDAS. M for mentoring, I for inclusiveness, D for delivering excellent service, and so on and so forth. That was the basis on which you gave us the mandate to run the Institute. And the last 11 months, ladies and gentlemen, have been quite eventful. They have been quite wonderful. They have turned out to be a launching pad, wonderful opportunity to serve. We've been able to discover that the opportunity given to us is a fertile ground. I want to use the word works. It's a fertile ground to sow in. And so we went straight on to look at what were the strategic imperatives of our institute. So we brought in the MIDAS and we subsumed it under the 4 pillars, the 4 strategic imperatives that we met on ground. That is the 2019 to 2021 strategic plan of the Institute. Stakeholder satisfaction, brand equity, operational excellence, and so on and so forth. And we set to work. And ladies and gentlemen, I am glad to come back to report. Yes, this is not an AGM, it's an election debate, but to report that in the last 11 months, we've done things that you should be proud of. For the first time ever in the history of our institute, okay, I am sure I am live now. Thank you, Peter. Thank you for bringing me live. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sure, can somebody respond to me? You can see me live. Can you hear me? Wow.
We can't see you.
Came back, but my voice seems to have gone. Hello?
We can hear you, President, but we can't
hear you, but we can't see you.
Chamber.
Now we can, I think the camera is coming up.
All right, we can see you now. All right. But we can't hear you because you're muted.
Yes.
Right.
I've just unmuted. Can you see me? Can you hear me now?
We can see and hear you.
I hear you.
Yeah, where did you lose me? Where last? What did you hear last, so that I don't just go and repeat everything?
Well, you were speaking to the board and thanking them for giving you a platform to do things you've been doing for the past 11 months.
Okay, so
and why they should be proud.
Yes, in the past 11 months, we've hit the ground running. And these are a few things we have done, which has actually, become a launching pad for us for the next 12 months. First, for the first time in the history of our institute, which is more than 50 years, we had our first, hybrid conference, what we used to call the annual national conference. And the interesting thing about this is that for the first time, our conference went global. We had speakers and participants from all over the globe, speaking to us. And I want to also report that in that same conference, we had 20, at least 20 of our senior professionals becoming fellows of the Institute. And again, one first within that conference is the fact that for the first time, a president is what do you call it? Is giving the fellowship, the highest grade in our institute to a past president, and that's something that has gone to history book. What have we done in the last 10 months, ladies and gentlemen? We came on board on the promise that we are going to resuscitate our branches. We are going to use the vehicle of the branches to grow our institute. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a membership industry. Membership is one pillar of our institute. We need to grow our membership so that we can grow our financial base, so that we can grow our revenue base. So we went to work instantly. I can report to you today that at least we had promised that we will resuscitate 4 of our inactive branches, but I can tell you today that we ended up, by the grace of God, resuscitating 5. And something that has not happened in the past 6 years in our institute, we did it. We went as far as the northeast part of Nigeria to inaugurate the Adamawa State branch, ladies and gentlemen. When we came on board, we said, okay, we are going to, we had a mission, #4000, that if we're an institute of 17,000 and less than 4,000 members are active, we said at least from the 13,000 that are inactive, we will resuscitate 4,000. So we set about that. The essence of going to the branches is that there are a lot of our members. You can imagine members who have been associates for 10 years. And today, by the grace of God, we've been able to touch them. We've been able to reach out to them, and they are coming on board. Ladies and gentlemen, in the last 11 months, by the grace of God, we've done our strategic imperative for the year 2022 to 2024. Is a 3-year, what do you call it, rolling plan, and we have gone ahead with the one for 2022 to 2024, and in that we were able, the professionals in this institute that were represented at the strategic retreat,
Welcome back. We lost you at some point. You were talking about the retreats. Kindly unmute and continue. And don't forget to tell us what you have coming up next.
Yeah, okay. So quickly, in rounding up, so in that, for the next strategic imperative, that is what is coming next. Year 2022 to 2024, we were able to redirect our focus, our vision, to become the institute of choice for people management, not in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but globally. We were able to refocus our mission to promote excellence in people management through value creation, optimization of human potential, Peter, please check the network at the council chamber. This is not my network throwing me out. I can see Mr. Odetunde there. Guys, look at the network in the council chamber. I have 3 networks. I have 3 networks around me here. I can easily flip. So please. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me quickly move on. And of course, from our strategy retreat, also, ladies and gentlemen, we came up again with fresh pillars of financial sustainability. That is very key to us. Even if you are a not-for-profit, you will still need financial sustainability to sustain yourself. And we are not a not-for-profit. We are a membership institute. Membership and stakeholder perspective, that is the next phase we are going. Operational excellence, we will continue with that. And of course, we want to talk about people, capability, perspective. What do I mean by this? In the next few years, ladies and gentlemen, in the next few months, we want to be sure that your institute makes more money, your institute is more self-sustaining, the employees of the institute are equitably rewarded, and members are profitably serviced. Membership and stakeholder perspective, you all know me, that our members, they remain our number one priority. We want to serve our members, we want to give quality service, and that quality service tags into operational excellence. We'll continue to work at reaching our members. In the last 11 our members can testify how we have made them priority, how we opened up the secretariat and said that this is a membership institute. We cannot continue to lock up the secretariat. And of course, the employees who are employed at the secretariat at the HQ were the first point of contact immediately that happened. They were the first set of people we had stakeholders engagement with, and after that we went on having stakeholders engagement with our members. If you look at our core values, we are retaining those core values except one. We are changing results to respect. This is very key for us. Respecting our employees and respecting our members. Respect is reciprocal, ladies and gentlemen. If we respect ourselves, I mean, we will all be respected. So in the next few months, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue with our branch development drive. We will continue, resuscitating, not only just adding members we will continue also to resuscitate members that are inactive. Work has just started, ladies and gentlemen, and I will rest here for a while, and we will continue later. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Majid, for sharing your manifesto and walking us through the path of the last 11 months with interesting achievements and goals achieved. Right about now, I'll go into the questions for you for the next 15 minutes before we take questions from our participants joining us from different parts. Remember that you can only send your questions via the Q&A box and not the chat box. Please send your messages or questions to the Q&A section of the virtual chats. So this question is for you, Mr. Majid, Mr. Olusegun Majid. For the over 50 years of its existence, CIPM has not been able to penetrate the public sector to an extent that our certificate is yet to be accredited and recognized by the Council of Establishments. What will you do differently this time that will ease CIPM's penetration into the public sector? Kindly unmute, please.
Before answering that question, I want to also quickly say this, that this leadership has been excellent in working together in the last 11 months. We have done things together. I'm sure when you get to the respective candidates, you'll be hearing more from them. It's been a united front, and I want to really appreciate both the leadership and the elected council members whom we have worked together in the last 11 months. My colleagues in the public sector, I'm very familiar with them and they know what we have been doing. But before I go into what we have done also, I want to pay homage to our past leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been on this mountain for too long. Our past leaders have worked tirelessly. Every time we have appeared at the National Council of Establishment to pursue the agenda of making our certificates relevant and recognized in the public sector. And we are not stopping. One thing we have done differently in the last 11 months, and which we are going to continue, is as we continue at the macro level of the National Council of Establishment, we have also decided to go at the micro level. We know the states that are in the forefront, call them frontline states. States whose public service are powerful. Let me use that word. I'm not saying some states' public service are not powerful, but we also know that 70% of the state's public service are public service economy of the states. 70% of our states are public service economy. Only a few can actually, boast of viable industries. The states like Rivers, states like Lagos, states like Ogun. And we have recently thrown Kaduna into the mix. What do we want to do? And Akwa Ibom. See, we want to now begin to approach these states one-on-one, because at the end of the day, it's their head of service that we go to the National Council of Establishment. So we have decided to come to the micro level, meeting each head of service. And in the past 11 months, we've met quite a number of those head of service to present our agenda to them once again and say, please, these are our certificate. This are our curriculum. This is the curriculum we run. This is what, because years ago, we partnered with Lagos State Public Service. Today, human resource management is well professionalized in the Lagos State Public Service. And we want to take that template to the other states. And why are we doing that? We are even ready . We are even ready. We are even ready to go a long way to do a lot of collaboration with these states, at a cost to CIPM, even at a cost to CIPM. And why are we doing it that way? We are thinking that let us approach them one by one. As we continue at the macro level of NC, let's also continue at the level of state by state, so that when these people come together at NC, our matters will be in the front burner. We have also decided that at every meeting of NC, CIPM is going to be represented powerfully at every meeting, whether we are on the agenda or when we are not on the agenda. It's part of our stakeholder management going forward, ladies and gentlemen. And at the end of the day, what are we looking for? We are looking for the recognition of our diploma, of our certificate. May last year, a circular came out from the federal government that this diploma will no longer be recognized at the entry point. Fine. Even not all states are complying with that circular. However, we're saying for promotion, so people who are already in service and they have our diploma, we must find a way that if you're on level 8, the next place you should go will probably be level 10. If you're on level 10, the next place you probably go is level 12. We are working assiduously on this, and we will continue. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been on this mountain for too long. Since I became president, I've traversed this nation, visiting states' civil services, and we will continue. We have met with various head of service, and we will continue in that trajectory, and God helping us, we will achieve. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Thank you. Would you say engagements with these stakeholders, the Council of Establishments, would you say that's the only way to move to ensure penetration of CIPM across board, especially at the federal level where it's more recognized? Because you've just talked about the engagement you've had going on before now. Would you say more engagement is the only way to guarantee CIPM's access to these places? Or you have other strategies?
It will be unfair, number one. It will be unfair to say that at the federal level where it is more recognized. No, I can bet you, I don't want to begin to mention state or showcase state. I know of a particular state where the HR profession is more recognized, is being professionalized, and is doing very well. However, the National Council on Establishment are the lawmakers when it comes to the issue of professionalization and the recognition of certificates in the civil service of the Federation. Whether we are talking of ACA, whether we are talking of CITN, whether we are talking of COREN, whether we are talking of CIPM, that is where the decision is taken. And we've got to engage them. We can't shy away from it. We've got to engage them. We've got to have a breakthrough. And if there are other ways, other means of, e.g., visiting the president, visiting the vice president, visiting the governors, the essence of going to visit HOS is actually to get an inroad to visit their chief executives. And that is where we are going to present our case.
All right.
That is where we are going to present our case. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Let's move on to the next question. The Institute has leveraged various channels to promote national presence across the country. How do you intend to expand CIPM's activities and brand across the country through branch growth and developments? You did mention before that your vision at the time in the past 11 months was to reach out to at least 4 states or 4 establishments. But right now, you've added 5. You went all the way to Adamawa State as well, which is in the Northeast. And we appreciate that. However, we're moving forward. What is your vision? How do you intend to leverage various channels to promote more national presence across the country? How do you intend to expand CIPM's activities and brand across the country through branch growth and development?
Thank you very much. You should not stop something that is good. You make it better and you make it best. To start with, in the last 11 months, we've introduced fresh first-time programs. E.g., there's a radio program we brought on called The Office. The essence of that radio program is to reach the interland. Believe me, the widest circulating, the best way to reach the interland, to reach everyone is still the radio. It's still the radio, and you don't have to carry your radio all about. Just log in to either the Google App Store or the other app store and download Lagos Talk 91.3 FM app. I am not advertising. So please just download that. And every Thursday by 4:30 in the evening, join that program. It's part of the way we are reaching out to everyone to know about people management in the land. Also, apart from that, we also have the CIPM and You. That is a program every Thursday by 6 p.m. We're looking at timing because we are a listening leadership and a listening institute. We've had feedback about those timing and we are working on them. These are things we have done for the first time in the history of our institute in the last 11 months, and we will continue. For you to know how important branch development is to us, it is the vice president himself. I call him esteemed VP, that is in charge of our drive for branch growth. That is why, even despite the fact that we promised 4, we've done at least 5, and we have inaugurated 1. We will continue in that trajectory to reach our members. Is a grassroots. That is where to go. And of course, our relationship with the public sector. Just yesterday, we reached out to one of the prominent parastatals of the federal government, and we're able to announce a list of people who are desiring to be professional members or people who have been ACIPM for long. That was done by a volunteer member of the Institute. And that is what we have been, what we'll be using, making use of our members' expertise. Enjoy the cordial relationship between our members to march our Institute forward. Michelle, we're going to continue along that line. And
all right. So with the radio program, with the radio program, which I believe is in Lagos, Nigeria, it's reaching people in Lagos. That's the office, that's the show. Yes. The question is more about more brand visibility across the country. Are you looking to create more engagements with the media across country so that each radio station, or because radio is everywhere across the country, are you thinking of liaising with more radio stations across the country?
You, Michelle, I'm listening to you. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I lost you there.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. You have talked about the office, which is a radio program put together by the CIPM in Lagos, Nigeria, and you're encouraging people to download the app and use it. But I'd like to know your plans as well, because we want CIPM to be a brand that is recognized across the country, reaching out to the grassroots, reaching out to professionals, reaching out to the people that you're looking to attract, which is the Federal Council of Establishments. So are you looking to also liaise with more radio stations across country to have a program that is significant to what CIPM is about, to reach more people? Like you did say, if you start something good, you don't stop, you improve and make it better and best. Is that also part of your plan?
Yes, Michelle, let me quickly say this, that stakeholder engagement, in the last 11 months, and the last 11 months have been fantastic. For the first time in the history of our institute, we instituted a program called Day Out with the President. We've had 2 editions so far. We're going to continue with those editions. Also, as I told you earlier on, the visit to the head of civil service is also to help those states that are, predominantly civil service. Also, the federal government, we have relationship with the office of the head of civil service of the federation. Dr. Folashade Yemi, who is the head of the civil service of the federation, is an MCIPM of our institute, is the chief HR officer of the Federation of the Republic. So these are the various, a lot of parastatals. In fact, let me quickly say this, that Lagos Tech 91.3 FM is beginning to have competition, because other stations, both TV, I won't mention their names, are reaching out to us. However, even the one we have in Lagos Talk, which is Lagos Talk, is all over the federation. My friends have downloaded, my colleagues have downloaded the app, and they are listening to topical issues that are being discussed every Thursday. That's like I said earlier, that is a beautiful thing. And of course, we are also looking at, using other social media platforms. Already that program is on YouTube. It streams live on YouTube every Thursday. We are also going to look at Instagram. We're going to look at other platforms where that we go. But I can tell you, stakeholder engagements continue. In our stakeholder engagement, it's not only to members. We have had stakeholder engagement that we have done for non-members of the institute, and it was well attended. And we'll continue.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we have 2 more questions, and we do not have enough time, but I'm sure you would be wrapping them up shortly. Let's talk about threats currently facing the institute. Now, the institute is facing threats. Can you hear me? The institute is facing threats. Okay. The institute is facing threats of competition from other institutes.
Yes, ma'am.
You might be aware of this, I'm sure. So what will you do to make CIPM the institute of choice?
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everyone on this call. Number one, in the last 11 months, we've been asking ourselves the question, what is in need for our members? WIIFM. What is in it for me is a legitimate question for any member to ask. So we've gone out to see how we can revamp, even for our students members, how we can revamp our curriculum. We have listened to them. They kept complaining about a particular subject. We are looking into that. How do we make it more relevant to what they do on a day-to-day basis? How do we add value? There are other things we are doing. For example, we have an insurance scheme. I don't know how much that is selling for now, because we need to stand before the mirror and look at ourselves. And, in addition to that, we're also planning other loyalty programs. Other loyalty programs that if, as a member of CIPM, for instance, you get to a choice hotel in this land, your membership card, for instance, should give you certain things. Like I am a Hilton Honor Gold card carrier, so I know that when I take card and I enter any Hilton anywhere in the world, I know what rebate that gives me. So we are looking into those loyalty programs. So in the last 11 months, those are the things, and I want you to know that we will continue on that program. Also, What can we do, ladies and gentlemen? And we keep talking to our members that please let us know what we can do to assist. Recently we've had about toxic workplace. We've had a lot of things. And I keep telling our members, if you do not bring these things to our attention, how do we help you? And our institute is blessed with brains, I can tell you, both old, medium, and young, that could actually, we have various, our institute operates and excels by the reason of committees of council. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what we are asking, that our members should cooperate with us. They come with us, we are ready, because it's part of actually making our institute, that professional institute of choice. Once you have paid your dues, once your subscription, is up to date, please approach the institute and we will ready to know what is happening to you, to see where we can put them. We are not fighting anybody. We are not, because somebody else. Yeah, so thank you. Go on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you,
In 1 minute, our last question will be on the need to improve our stakeholder engagement for regulatory effectiveness. Clearly, it cannot be overly emphasized. What steps will you take in renewing and cementing our relationship with all stakeholders? Please, in 1 minute, what is your response?
We'll continue to do what we have been doing. I know somebody said even in broken, break it. We'll continue to do the good things we are doing. We'll reach out. We are humble. We are very humble. We'll reach out to everyone. I know you won't believe it. There are some stakeholders in the last 11 months we have written to repeatedly, but we also know the season we are in. Both private sector and public sector engagement will continue. We continue, although we are in election season, there's no cause for alarm. So we'll continue with our collaboration to start with. Ladies and gentlemen, also we've started something in the last 11 months, collaboration with global HR certification institutes. Because you know what, we are not in competition. We are all in the same HR business. So if CIPM has various certifications, and there are a lot of competition around, use that word, competition, global certification institutes. What we want to do is to collaborate. I'm borrowing the word from one of my teachers. What we are looking for is co-opetition. So when these, people come around, we want to know, my ACIPM guy, what does he need to become GPHR, SPHR, SHRIM, and HRCI certified, and so on and so forth. And that process has started already. And do not forget, we are also, 30 more seconds, we are also, spending huge amount of money on ICT to revamp our technology to serve our people better. Our website will become friendly, and so on and so forth. You can log in there. You will access massive materials for your betterment, for the improvement of our members. Watch this space in the next 12 months. It's going to be something else. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Olusegun Mojeed, current president, FCIPM. Right about now, we'll go straight into the Q&A session. I'm sure all our listeners and audience and participants in general have their questions already in the Q&A box. I'll be reading them. We have a question here. We'll be doing this for the next 10 minutes. So responses should be as brief as possible. There's a message here from Bosun Oluwumi. Mr. President, grateful for your astute leadership drive of our great institution, CIPM. But here's my question. Is there any reason why we have quick turnover of the registrar of these institutes? Is there a reason? If so, why?
Yeah, I was tempted to say the great resignation. But on a more serious note, in the last 3 or 4 years, we have had 2 great registrars. The first one, because of the work she did, for our institute because of the projection our institute gave to her, was given a commissionership position with the Lagos state government. It's a thing of pride. It's a thing of pride for us. And in the last few months, the person who took over from her resigned her appointment. It's as simple as ABC. But I can tell you, our institute remains a great place to work in. And any moment from now, we are almost concluding the resourcing of the new registrar. Believe me, your institute is doing great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that response. Ibrahim Yusuf has a question, and he's asking, what's the president's plan for her members in the private sector in terms of recognition of the CIPM's certificates? Again, what is the president's plan for the members in the private sector in terms of recognition of CIPM's certificates?
Dear Ibrahim, we are doing so greatly in the private sector. They have been our best partners. Our certificates are recognized. I know that there are few instances where they are still wondering. But I can tell you today, if you look at a private sector advert looking vacancy announcement, looking for an HR person, you will see that possession of the CIPM membership is mandatory. So we want to say thank you to our private sector partners. The battle is almost won in the private sector. Sincerely, Ibrahim, we can take this out of here. If there's any private sector company that is still having issue with our certificate, we can approach them. We can do an advocacy campaign on that. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Majid. There's a question here from Morakinyo Oloyede, and he or she is asking, what is the institute doing about partnership with higher institutions for collaboration? Higher institutions for collaboration. Yeah. What is the institute doing about partnership?
Yeah. Quickly, I also want to commend our predecessors. They started this, and we are doing very well. We are continuing that. We have MOU with various higher institutions. Please permit me, because once in a while you need to mention, we have with Covenant University, we have with LASU, we have with UI, we have with Lead University in Ibadan, and more. We have with Rome Business School. A lot of higher institutions where our young ones are also being groomed. Some of them are actually running our syllabus. For instance, the University of Ibadan started recently 2 master's programs on our curriculum. I mean, that's great. That is a premier university. You can't have it better. The only thing is that I'm a little bit, when it comes to this, I'm a little bit sober, because my own university, the Great University of Lagos, Great Akokai, is yet to go into partnership with us, and we're looking into that in the next in the next few months. So it's an ongoing thing. We'll continue to reach out, because those are the future of our institute, the young ones. And I'm so glad a lot of them are falling in line. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll take some comments. Maria Oko is saying, I hope that result is achieved soonest as regards the acceptance of CIPM certificates by the various state civil service, as it will surprise you to know that the Delta State Local Government Service Commission, which I work for, already approved Chartered Institute of Local Government and Public Administration of Nigeria as the recognized professional body for its administrative staff, making my CIPM certificate almost not useful for growth for me in the service. Thank you. This is clearly not good news to us.
Yeah, that is why I know at the local government establishment is also recognized. But in our case, we are trying to, that's one of the reasons we are doing with the HOS. I know that was a comment, is actually professionalizing the human resource cadre in the civil service. That is where we will, you will see the quality of our profession showing forth, just like we did with Lagos State years ago. We are on it. The Delta State branch chairman is on this with me. I don't know if he's on this call. And I saw also the Edo State branch chairman. And if you are the Akwa Ibom State, we are on this together. And by the grace of God, I say amen to the first part of your comment.
All right, thank you. We have about 3 more questions, but we'll have to pause here because time is not a friend. Thank you so much, Mr. Olusegun Mojid, current president, FCIPM, for your time and for sharing your vision with us.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle,
Yes.
and thank you, everyone. I remain on the call, please.
All right, we'll move next to our second contestant, Mr. Henry Onuakbo. He's currently the vice president, MCIPM, and he'll be joining us right about now to take questions and also share his manifesto. Let me kindly run you through the order of the conversation. The first 10 minutes will be for you to present us your manifesto, share with us your achievements in the past briefly, and tell us what next you have in plan to take this institution to the very next level for 10 minutes altogether. After that, we have 15 minutes of questions put together by the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. And after that, the next 10 minutes will be for a Q&A session where participants right here on this virtual meeting will be asking you questions. And the last 5 minutes will be for your final thoughts. Kindly, please recognize that time is not our friend. I will be strict with timing this time. But yes, you do have the floor for the next 10 minutes. Share your manifesto and run us briefly through your achievements so far with the CIPM. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Michelle. Confirm that you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can all hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you. So this is a formal engagement. So I want to start with recognizing the President and Chairman of Council, Mr. Olusegun Mojid, FCIPM. Also the National Treasurer, who's also here with us, Mrs. Chidima BAJC. And huge thanks to all of our leadership and fellows in the House. Also huge thanks to the Electoral Committee for the great work so far. So thank you very much, and good afternoon, all our professional colleagues all across the world who are listening to us today. Thank you very much again for the opportunity. And I'd like to just share a few things as to what promises we made the last time around. What have we done with these promises? And what do we intend to do in the time to come? So that's it about that, and I'll make it very quick at that. And I'm glad to take the questions that will follow. So we promised that we will drive for branch development. And in a lot of things the president said, he used the term we a lot. And indeed, we have worked as a team to deliver quite a lot together. So my apologies if I do repeat some of the things that the president has said, because we've worked as a team and he's saddled me with responsibility to run some of the things. So we did say that we will develop our branches. And in branch development, it was actually beyond just resuscitating branches that were dormant. It's beyond opening new branches. It is also upscaling the branches and helping them to improve in their service delivery to members. Because at the end of the day, really, after all the things that we do, it's about the members and membership. It's about how they feel. And we know that nobody is a member of HQ. Everybody is a member of a branch or a chapter. And so that's the focus around branch development. How do we ensure that they give the best possible to the members? And as the president said earlier on, we have resuscitated, which is part of what we promised to do. That will resuscitate 4 branches at the time, but for now we've done 5. I'll mention some of them very quickly. Cross River State, back on board. Bayelsa State branch, back on board, very strong. Enugu State branch, back on board. And then we've done a lot of work around that area also. Benue State branch, and of course also Niger State branch, all across. And as the president said, we also were there in the Northeast for the first time. Yours faithfully was there to inaugurate physically the branch in Adamawa State. But around branch development, it's beyond, as we said, opening the branches. What we want to do is to upscale their service delivery. So what we have done in that area is to look at it. We have a process, what we call the Best Branch Awards. Every year we run that process and we come up to see which are the branches that have come up on top and which branches have been most developed. For many years, Lagos State branch has been well on top, and for good reason. What did we decide to do, and I have driven that on behalf of the president, is to replicate some of the great work that Lagos State has done. So within the year, we held a very, very high level leadership and development session, workshop for all of branch leadership. We showed them some of the great things that Lagos State has been doing over the years that makes it the topmost branch. And we ensure that the branch leadership were able to take these things and replicate in their branches. In the coming days, all of you will see what has happened with that process, where branches that were down below in the pecking order of the best branch award are very much on top now. That is part of what we have done. So beyond opening new branches, we've worked hard at ensuring that the branches are able to give a lot more to their members. Many of you here will remember that we used to have just 2 examination sessions every year, 2 sessions. Today, what we have is there are 4 sessions every year. What does that mean? People who work hard enough can become members of the Institute quicker. And that's been very great for us. The other good thing about that is our exams are 100% online now. So we've cut out all the bureaucracy, we've cut out all that paperwork. What that means today is that anywhere across the world, any person who wants to become a member of our institute, any part of the world, can write our exams and become a member. And trust me, out there, the positives around this have been very great. People are excited about it. It is tough, I agree, but if you follow the tough road, you come out successful. That has been great. But part of what that has done for us is that it has increased revenue. So from 2 exams in a year to 4 exams in a year, also our revenue has gone up quite clear. And our exams have gone global. Our exams have gone global, which is critical for us and something we wanted to achieve. Of course, the president did speak about our national conference we had last year, which was fully hybrid and across the world. Won't say too much around that. What to add to that also is that in our drive for diversity, in our drive for national spread, in our drive for ensuring that we are the foremost HR organization in the country, in Africa also, what we have done is to ensure that the next conference, which is now christened the International Conference and Exhibition, will take place outside Abuja for the first time in nearly 20 years. It will come to Rivers State because we are driving diversity, we are driving national inclusion, and that will happen also. We've driven quite some work around technology and information technology development. And that's part of what we have seen with the exams we've talked about. In the coming weeks, we'll see quite a lot more around that area. Also, what have we done? We have launched, as some of you witnessed during the last conference, our body of knowledge. What does this mean? This has quite huge resources and huge opportunities for development of our members. So what members can easily tap to this in various spheres of their professional career, looking at the things that matter to them, things they want to know, support they require to drive all the things they are driving in their workplaces. All they need to do is tap into this, and they will find a lot of resources to help them. As soon as we relaunch our technology work, which is currently going, members can now easily access this as part of that. So I just thought to share some of these things that we have driven, a lot more to come, of course. If you also notice, we've also driven quite strongly around diversity and inclusion. So just the International Women's Day celebration a couple of weeks ago, we did publish how the women amongst us have taken quite a lot of responsibility around leadership in our institute. So today, of course, we have the national treasurer as a lady with us, and across the branches, a lot of the branch chairmen are also the females. We've taken deliberate work around this. It's not happenstance. Of course, we do not play with competence and merit, yet we recognize the need to ensure the women also are in the forefront leadership in our branches. I'll say a little now about some of the things we want to drive going forward. Look, quite clearly, we want to reach out to our people more. Some of the things we are driving, we want to come to our members and ask them, through a needs analysis, we would ask them, what are some of those things you would like to see to continue to make our institute greater? We'll run that needs analysis, we'll call it a feedback, we'll call it a survey, but it's a needs analysis. We'll come to our members to ask them. And we'll be zeroing in, of course, on the millennials on this, to basically say, what are those things that you would like to see the institute deliver to you that will draw you more into the institute and help you to give more to that? That we'll see coming up very soon as part of the things that we want to drive. Also, of course, we'll be driving quite strongly around revenue. And by driving for revenue, we'll be looking at stronger collaborations with other institutes and institutions. That for us is also critical. Of course, as we say, we're non-for-profit, yet it's important that we're able to deliver on our mandate, and revenue is critical to that. So we're working quite hard around that to ensure that we're able to do that. Part of the things we will do also is to drive for much more partnership and collaboration. The president did mention some of the institutions that we have partnered with. I dare say that with a lot of hard work of our predecessors in office, great work has been done, but you will notice that quite a number of them are in the Southwest, and that is why we want to drive the same across the country. So just last month, yours faithfully was at the American University in Yola, and we've commenced discussion in that regard. Same discussions have also commenced with the River State University of Technology and University of Port Harcourt. We will drive more work around this, such that this collaboration will be much more representative across the country, so that our members, wherever they are, will continue to get the benefits of that. We will also drive for much more brand visibility. Again, the president did speak about some of these things. This evening, as part of our sessions, we'll have another session for CIPM and you. And it's basically members driven. It's to say CIPM and you as a member, come and talk with us, come and share. Today, we'll look at issue of toxicity in the workplace, basically because it's a hot topic currently, but we're doing that quite strongly. And that's, again, part of engagement. The president did speak also part of what we are doing around the time out to the president, which, of course, it's all of us as leadership. And when that session goes, we're all there to provide support to that process. In November this year, we have a very critical program coming up. It is our academic conference. And this will be hosted by the Lead City University. This, of course, is around driving, again, as I said, brand visibility, but also as having a handshake with the academia. Over time, we will spread this session as much as possible across the country. Lead City University, as I said, is hosting that of this year. And as we drive for this more, we will ensure that more universities across the country will host this. And of course, this drives for visibility, as we earlier mentioned. Also, of course, in sustaining and driving branch development.
Please wrap up in the next 1 minute.
Oh, thank you. I'll do that. And thank you so much. Just a few more things to say, and then we'll be wrapping up on that. The president did speak, and we will also be driving quite some work again at more visibility and more connection with our branches. And what do I mean by this? The states in Nigeria, they differ in terms of their outlook in very many ways. If you look at Lagos State, for instance, a lot is happening there with the private sector. And so one will not be surprised in terms of what kind of partnership that we have. But if you go to some other states, a lot is happening in those states, a lot more in the public sector and the academia. So while you may not have a lot of private companies in some states it will be the public sector and the academia. So we will be focusing quite strongly on some of these states where our members are there in the public service and in higher institutions. I'll give a quick example again. The leadership of our branch in Adamawa State are basically from the American University in Yola. And that speaks to the kind of strategy that we have put in place. So while the leadership and the key membership may be from the private sector in some states it will be from the public service and the academia. We've recognized this and we'll be driving quite strongly in that regard to ensure that we do that. So just to say finally also, by virtue of our technology work that we are driving, we want to also recognize the needs of our millennials and then support them. At the end of the day, it's about delivering more value to members. Our vision is, of course, being the foremost people management and organizational development institute. And for us to do that, it's about delivering value to members, and that's what we are set to do in the next 12 months coming. Thank you very much, Michelle.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry Honoapo, for that interesting presentation. We'll take it further with questions for you. You've spoken extensively, well, maybe just a little about technology. I've heard you mention the word technology at least twice during your speech, but I have some questions as regards that. I'd like to know your strategies that you have planned already to bring the institution to platforms such as Apple, that's the iOS store, the Apple store, and the Google Play store for improved membership interface. You know, this is a digital age of working remotely from any location and for easy accessibility. I would like to know what plans you have put in place currently, if any, to make sure that CIPM is visible on the Apple Play Store, the Google Play Store, so people can, members, like you've rightly said, you care about the members so much. Well, how can they interface? How can they do things remotely in this digital age and technology age, which is moving forward? Vice President, what is your plan?
Thank you, Michelle. And that question itself actually excites me because it's something we're passionate about. But for time, I would have mentioned that earlier. So we are driving a complete revamp of our technology provision. So in the coming days, of course, not only with what you've said, members will see a very brand new website, highly interactive. It will actually pull members in. You would have a lot of things that you want to do, the CIPM website, which will drive more. But in more specific terms to your question, you would notice that for most of us, excuse me, you would notice that for most of us, a lot of times we spend on our phones for all the good reasons. There's a lot that we get to do. We buy and sell, we do our banking and all of that. So why not CIPM? So part of the things we want to deliver with this technology project is the CIPM app or CIPM application. And the intent is that it will be on the Google Play Store, on the Android provision also. Members can download, they can access materials from the body of knowledge, they can see what their membership status is, they can draw resources from that, they can pay their dues on that, a lot more. So basically, we're putting that in the hands of members through the platforms that we've mentioned. This is part of the technology journey that we've started, and we intend to deliver it within the next 12 months.
All right, thank you. Now, having strengthened the branch leadership, which you did mention earlier, to the tenets of the institutes, how do you intend to sustain it? Because sustainability is everything. It goes beyond implementing something. But if you, like the president said before, if you do something good, you have to make it better and make it the best. So sustainability is something that is a continuum. So my question would be, how do you intend to sustain it even after there is a change in leadership? We see it happen in Nigeria, in politics, in government. Someone is building a road, the tenure expires, the next president comes in, could care less about that road, or the governor could care less and have his own personal vision. So this is a baton, and we're hoping for a smoother run because everyone is working for, towards a seamless goal of this institution. So how do you plan on sustaining and of course, strengthening the brand leadership to the tenets of the Institute?
Thank you again, Michelle. I can't thank you enough. So one of the things planned, and I'm trying to be as specific as possible to manage time. So as soon as we are done with the AGM, and also you might, members are aware that across the branches in the country, we did our best to ensure that all the AGMs happened within the month of March, save for one or two that had to spill over to this month. And it was intentional. The president and all of us leadership provided leadership to that. And the president actually did saddle me with that responsibility. So over 20 branches had their AGMs in the month of March. Few more this month. What does that mean? It means that for many branches, there's been change in leadership, just like you said. Because there's a snapshot, and we can deal with that. So following that very quickly as part of sustaining this drive that you mentioned, is that there's going to be an onboarding leadership onboarding workshop, where we will then come and say, yes, we have a new set of leaders, let us drive with the vision and let's share with them. Sometime last month or 2 months ago, we did look at the strategy for our institute. How do we want to deliver to our members? Part of what will be shared at this leadership onboarding workshop for the new branch leadership is the strategy for the institute. What you don't want is people coming in and they're not understanding the journey, and then they could be on a different tangent themselves. So as part of sustaining this, we'll have that leadership onboarding workshop. We'll share with them the ethos and the strategy for the institute. I did say something earlier, and I'm really clear and passionate about this because sometimes it's really critical to give honor to where it is due. Lagos State Branch has done quite a lot in terms of delivering excellence to our institute and to its members. So as part of sustaining what is happening in other branches, we are drawing examples from Lagos State. We are sharing the good works from Lagos State. And of course, a few other states, Rivers State, our branch in Abuja also. We are bringing the key things that they have delivered and sharing with our branch leadership. I'll tell you just a little bit more around this. So the Lagos State branch did have its conference sometime last month. Yours faithfully was there. It was an exceptional conference. Part of what was agreed right there, and the president has given his support for that, is that we're going to have a specific workshop for the branch leadership on making a success of branch conferences, because this was very exceptional. So I'll keep it straight, basically by saying, we continue hand-holding with the branches. We'll continue leadership workshop and training with them as part of onboarding. We share with them the strategy for our institute as the journey that this team is driving that they can be part of. And then we partner quite strongly with Lagos State as a key example for development for the branches. That we are doing. And lastly, just yesterday, while looking at the work that has been done by the institutional development team, we shared part of the work ongoing on the Best Branch Awards. And we've said, using that process, we will then say, what are some of the great things that these branches who are winning this award, what are they doing? What are they doing differently? We then bring that to share with other branches to say, here are things within the institute that you can replicate in your branch. So that's the fulcrum. Those are the things we are doing. And I dare say for now it is working quite well and we can only get better.
All right, thank you. My final question for this session will be on your focus. What will be your focus and or recommendations for strategically positioning the HR function to add value to the business and the CIPM strategy plan in 2022? I'll take that again. What will be your focus or recommendations for strategically positioning the HR function to add value to the business and the CIPM strategy plan in 2022?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much again, Michelle. So one of the things, our charter gives us certain responsibilities. And one of it is a regulatory responsibility. And that is one thing that we will work on quite strongly going forward. There should be certain minimum standards in every organization in terms of their HR practice, in terms of how they treat their people, in terms of their HR structures. So one of the things that we will try to do going forward is to look at what our charter says. And of course, by mention of the charter, it means that this is covered by law in Nigeria. And because of that, we'll be partnering with other organizations like the judicial institutes to come up and see how do we collaborate more to ensure that certain minimum standards are maintained in every organization, whether in the public or private sector. So to put it clearly, that's what our charter says, that we can regulate HR practice in Nigeria. And by so doing, we want to see how we can bring that responsibility to fore, and in partnering with relevant institutions in Nigeria and institutes, we want to see how we can help to maintain such minimum standards. Of course, one of the things we could also set in place is some kind of whistleblowing function where members have an opportunity to be able to give thumbs up, for instance, to institutions that are doing well. And those ones that are not doing well, there should be a way of calling them out that we can provide support to them to improve upon. So to keep it specific, it's about our charter, it's about the regulatory responsibility it gives to us, and we want to drive more around this going forward to ensure the maintenance of certain minimum standards of human resource practice in Nigeria.
All right, thank you, Mr. Henry. Indeed, regulation is key. Without regulation, people or HRs might just do whatever it is that they want. We'll wrap it up on this session and move to the Q&A session, where I'll be taking questions from participants that have joined us from different parts of the country. There are some spillover questions for the president, but you're the vice president, so I'm sure you do justice to these questions as well. All right?
I'll try it, Michelle.
All right. Okay, so here is a question from, I think I'll keep it completely anonymous. There's a question saying, is it because we want CIPM to be a household brand that we're giving non-members membership? First of all, is that a thing? Are non-members gaining membership? Are you aware?
Okay, thanks. Everybody at some point, excuse me, sorry, I had a cold, so in case I clear my throat, my apologies. Everybody at some point was a non-member, then you become a member. So maybe I need to understand the question a bit more. All of us who are here today, more than 100 people who are online, were non-members at some point. And so you then process your membership either through the examination route, through the professional route, through the executive route, through the military route, let me keep it that short, and become members. So not aware that we are giving membership to non-members in that context, but very clearly saying that every person who qualifies as part of the routes I've mentioned, they were at some point non-members, and as soon as they qualify to be members based on the set criteria, we offer them membership. For instance, the examination route. People will be students, they are non-members. They will write those exams, tough exams, I dare say, they pass them, and then they become members. There's the professional route. People qualify based on the academic qualification, then they practice human resource for a while. We check their CVs, we check their accomplishments, we check what training programs, HR training programs they've gone through. And if they do qualify, and we check their experience also, based on some interview process. If they do qualify, they become members. Same approach for the executive route, same approach for the military, and things like that. So to keep it short, everybody at some point is a non-member. We have routes to membership with very, very clear criteria. And as soon as people meet those criteria, and by the way, those criteria were approved and agreed by council. And some of them contain our charter, of course, but at least council will agree those criteria. And once those criteria are there, we offer them to people. And when they meet those criteria, they become members. I'll keep it at that, Michelle, except there's further question around that.
Thank you. There's a question here saying, do we look forward to a time where after certification as a student, you can gain a placement as an intern to gain practical experience as a young student and not just the theoretical aspects of it as the CIPM currently offers?
Okay, so yeah, the answer is yes. And I dare say that is already going on. We have, as we speak today, our ready to market platform. And what is that about? That is the partnership that we have with the private sector, where we're able to say, and then we pre-qualify these people once again. So people who have gone through our process, who have become ACIPM, we take their CVs and we match them with the needs of the private sector, whatever sector they are in, the organizations that we're in partnership with. And that has been running for a while. But of course, we all know what COVID did to the entire country. So there's been a bit of a slowdown around that. And thanks for bringing the question. I wish I knew the name of the person. I would have thanked him or her quite profusely. So we're giving further verve to this in two ways. First of all, we are resuscitating it quite strongly now that COVID is mostly down. So we want to ensure that those organizations we have partnership with will resuscitate that and drive it. But more so, we started it primarily with Lagos as the pilot, as the hub, and it has worked so well. What has the experience been? Members who have become ACIPM through that process, we pre-qualify them through tests that they write, and so we take them by merit, and then we give them that link with those organizations, and they spend those times there gaining very, very practical experience. And it has been on, they've been at least minimum 2 rounds of this. Going forward, we want to resuscitate this and want to spread that across the country. So from Lagos, we're moving to Port Harcourt, we're moving to Abuja, and we're moving to Kaduna to ensure that we can reach more people across that. That is what we are doing. But beyond that also is that we, through our various platforms, we keep announcing job vacancies, we keep announcing positions to our members. So all we ask you to do is this: get more active with your branches, Get more active with your chapters. When you are there, you will see these opportunities. I share this very quickly before I leave, before I go out of this one, sorry. So I was at some point branch chairman for Rivers State. And I don't know if he's on this platform. My predecessor in office, Wale, that's his name, he continued to say quite clearly that he got his greatest job, which he's still doing currently as we speak, as part of the branch platform. That's where he got his job opportunity from, just there. And he got a great job from that. So what's my point? First, through our Ready to Market platform, we're already running this internship program that has been mentioned. So we ask people to be more participatory in their branches and in their chapters. Two, via the branch networks, we announce vacancies quite regularly. So I urge everyone, please be more active in this platform so we can deliver more service to you.
All right, thank you. There is a comment here saying the Institute should look into the renewal of license. No competency test, please. Also, the work activities should be revised. There's a question here saying, what platforms are available for new members to get involved and participate effectively with the CIPM? And how do we drive the awareness of these platforms?
So thank you very much. Number of platforms, as we said, one of it, as I just mentioned earlier today, 6 p.m. this evening, and it's not the first, it's not the second, it's a session, it's been going on for a while. 6 p.m. this evening, another session of CIPM and you is coming up. So that's one of it, please get involved. The various radio programs have been mentioned earlier on as we spoke on. Time Out with the President is another, we spoke about that earlier on, and we keep publicizing and pushing this out there. But let me tell you, let me be honest, the greatest part of participation that you can even have, and that will even lead to these other ones I mentioned, is at your branch, at your chapter. Get involved, be part of it. And that is what you get to know the other things that are there, because some of the things that I've mentioned will continue to be publicized via the branch and chapter platforms. So those are some of the things to mention quite quickly. I just mentioned CIPM and you, I mentioned Time Out with the President, and I mentioned, of course, our various platforms on radio and on social media. But much more importantly, get active, please, with your branches and your chapters. You'll get to see a lot more.
All right, thank you. A question here from Dr. Solomon is saying, do you think it is viable and feasible for the institution to establish an online library where HR-related peer-reviewed journals or resource materials can be accessed by financially compliant members?
Yes.
Can I take it again?
So. Yes, say it again, but yeah,
all right.
Go ahead.
Do you think it is viable or feasible for the Institute to establish an online library where HR-related peer-reviewed journals or resource materials could be accessed by financially compliant members?
So yes, the answer is yes to that. We think it's viable, and I do wish I could get the names of some of these persons so as to send
that's coming from Dr. Solomon Ihidero.
Dr. Solomon Ihidero, thank you very much for that. That for me tells me that you're committed to the Institute and where we're driving. So when I did speak around delivering more value to members, this is exactly what I was talking about. And I spoke concerning the fact that we have launched our BOK, Body of Knowledge. What this means is that it's a repository for all the great work that is being done, research papers, journals, books, and all kinds of related materials, projects concluded, and how they were done, and all of that. So huge amount of resources and a repository for that. That's the body of knowledge. And so as part of that, of course, is the library. Have you seen this yet? Really not. And so this is part of our technology revamp project. As soon as we are done with that, it will become more visible to members and you can access it. And indeed, you're right. Your financial status should give you access to this. So please look out for it. At the last national conference, it was launched to bring it to fore. The conclusion of the technology project, will put it in our hands. I did say earlier on also that hopefully as we drive, we'll be able to set up the CIPM app And this is part of the things that will be there as part of that process, and members can easily access these materials as quickly as possible.
Thank you. The final question here will be, or opinion, I'll put it, is from Idika Martina saying, if someone who has practiced HR for a year gets membership just by experience of just 1 year, then there is no fairness for those who are entering the examination hall or going through the examination route. Why not run it like ICANN? That's my opinion.
Okay, so thank you. It's both an opinion and a question. Just to state quite clearly that so we mentioned earlier, there are routes to membership. There's the exam one, there's a professional route, there's executive route. And I can say that none of these routes has practice of human resources for 1 year and you become a member. No, quite clearly, I'd like to state that. Now, we can share, and these are available. You can go to the CIPM website. Even now, you will see the criteria there quite clearly as the routes to membership. It is tough, it is stringent. Part of what that gives is not only your academic qualification, which you must have, you must also have done the number of years required for the membership route. And then you must also have done certain HR-related training programs to qualify. So it's quite tough, it's quite stringent. So quite clearly, it is not 1 year of practice of human resources that makes people members through that route. Just to state that. And the criteria, the provisions are all there in our CIPM website, can be accessed by anyone.
The last comment here, this is coming from Dr. Solomon Ihidero, and he's saying, have you thought of enabling the Institute to provide pro bono knowledge sharing? Pro bono knowledge sharing sessions as part of members' development and a way of incentivizing those whose subscriptions are up to date. Please keep your response very, very brief.
I'll keep it very brief. Thank you again, Dr. Solomon. Yes, we've thought of that. Yes, it is actually happening. So the CIPM and you session is one of those. It is one of those. It's going to happen again today at 6 p.m. And more of them will keep coming up. We do share, and that's pro bono. Nobody is paying for being part of that. I'll also state quite clearly that this is also happening all across the branches in this entire country. So part of what the branches do and chapters, each time they meet, they share knowledge. They call resource persons. They bring in one of the things, for instance, that we were doing in one of the branches, the branch I headed at some point, we called an HR clinic. So basically we bring in fellows of our institute, great persons of our institute who have cut their teeth in what they do, and they come and share knowledge, and nobody pays for that. So here's the point, therefore. Yes, we've thought of this. I've mentioned some of the approaches we are currently making use of, but I want to appeal to Dr. Solomon to say, please, if there are other approaches you know that we can bring upon, we're glad to include those. But just to state that at the branch and chapter sessions, this happens every month. And this is in addition to the CIPM and you and others that we have coming up. But just to add that we can take more with more suggestions.
All right, thank you. This is where we leave it for now. We'll go to our next candidates. Thank you very much, Mr. Henry Onuakpo, for sharing. We have Mrs. Chidinma Obiejesi, MCIPM, currently the National Treasurer of CIPM. She will be taking the floor shortly to share her manifesto, run us through what she has achieved in the past 12 months and what she hopes to achieve in the next year, in the coming year. Please note that the first session is just for 10 minutes, followed by 15 minutes of questions from me to you, and then 10 minutes for Q&A from our participants who are right here on this slide, who would ask questions for the next 10 minutes after that. And after that, we'll have 5 minutes for your final thoughts. So the first session is for 10 minutes. Remember, it's for your manifesto. Welcome to the floor, Mrs. Chidinma Obiejesi.
Thank you, Michelle, and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I've been well introduced. The president the vice president, the ECMs here, elected council members here present. Let me stay on an already established protocol. As the moderator had earlier mentioned, my name is Chidi Ma Obiejesi, and I've been the national treasurer for 2 terms now. The second term just concluded, and I'm running for the third one. While contesting for the second tenure, we had come out to promise. Part of our mandate and manifesto had been branch development, had been cost optimization, thinking of projects that would generate revenue for the institute, improving generally the financial sustainability of the institute. We have offered that we were going to ensure value proposition, improve value proposition for members, and that we have delivered on. As you can see, I wouldn't want to repeat all that. The president and VP had run us through things we have done. In the past 11 months, which was the commencement of this particular administration, I can tell you that we've had our eyes on value proposition, on cost optimization. Coming out from the pandemic year into 2021, where companies were just rebounding, we know that it was quite challenging, and CIPM was not insulated from the general public. Quite challenging to run any business in 2020. Yet we ensured that, the administration then ensured that we didn't run at a loss. And then we also came into 2021. Of course, a year of recovery. Companies were just beginning to think of training, and of paying staff was foremost in their minds. Keeping up and sustaining organization was what companies were thinking of. As CIPM, we thought of that, but that didn't stop us. We came up with projects. We improved our projects. We ran our conferences at such a cost that we were able to generate profits that exceeded previous years. We also generated income through implants. We pursued our MCPE, our training and implants, which also brought in revenue. Beyond that, we looked at other areas because, of course, we know that companies were cutting costs. So we look at other areas, which included looking at our residual funds. Rather than let our income sit there, we decided to let income work for us. So we came up with investment framework that would make sure that our residual funds are well utilized and optimized to generate revenue for us. As part of ensuring that we also continue to sustain the institute, we looked at reactivating inactive members. You will agree with me, like I've always been said, that we have a lot of members who are inactive, and that was a lot of funds being kept aside that the institute cannot have access to. We still have these people as our members. What administrations looked at was to look at waiver that was done just before this administration commenced. And that brought back a lot of members, because if you look at it, some who were actually owing, particularly for the development fee, that hindered them. With that backlog, they couldn't participate actively in the institute's activities. But taking that off took a lot of load. Considering the financial situation of the economy, a lot of members were losing their jobs. There was also discounts given them even before now. And that actually helped to prompt members and beef up their participation in the activities of the Institute. Having said that, we are seeking for your support to go on the next 12 months. And there's a lot of things we are looking at doing. The IT projects have commenced, I can assure you that. As part of the steering committee, and even as the national treasurer, we ensured that that had taken off with the construction of our ultra-modern website that will give members a lot of access. The VP has spoken a lot about that, so I wouldn't dwell on that. We're also looking at improved value proposition. Over time, I have always believed that when you add value to members, they'll be active. In this age and time, people look out for what will add value to them. And what we have been looking at is, and what we'll continue to look at is what will add value to members. We'll look at a lot of, we'll look at the insurance and try to revisit it, because we also know that not many have been able to access that. We plan to also ensure that we continue the empowerment of branches. For instance, if you check over the past few months, we have ensured prompt payment of branch development levy to ensure that branch need finance to sustain them, to meet up members' need, to continue to operate. And what we have then done is to ensure that these funds get to them on time and in the right amount that is supposed to get to them. So what we'll also continue to do is to ensure that we look for ways to empower branches, give branches more voice, because of course, like you know, the branches are the grassroots. Members really, everybody cannot participate at the national level. So you need the branch to be active for membership recruitment, for revenue generation, for brand visibility, for improvement of the perception of CIPM, and for added value services to our members. That we promise to continue to do. Beyond that, we will also look at our payment factors. The VP spoke about that. Our IT project is supposed to give us access and ensure that we do not just stop here. We ensure that we have access to easy payments so that we do not have people coming back and facing challenges with remitting their subscription and making payment for other services that we offer. These and a few others that have been mentioned, partnership and collaboration with other institutions and other partners to ensure that we run programs with them that will be of value to our members, and that have already started. So most of these are what we're already doing and will continue to do. So just watch out for us. We will ensure that whatever we have given our word to, we will keep to and deliver to our members. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Chidima. We appreciate you for using your time very well. Now we'll go to the Q&A session. We'll be asking you questions concerning your plans for the CIPM moving forward. How do you intend to, by the way, for those who are participating online, please note that your messages should be sent to the Q&A box, not the chat box. If you have questions for our speaker or candidate, please send them to the Q&A box, not the chat box. All right, so over to you, Ma. The question number one is, how do you intend to improve membership engagement across all levels of the Institute's activities, financially and otherwise? How do you intend to improve membership engagement across all levels of the Institute activities, financially and otherwise?
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for that question. First and foremost, coming from the chapter level, I know that there have been encouragement for members to become active, and some can even pay instrumentally. That provision is there that our member subscription is not very high, and we have tried so much not to increase despite the high rate of inflation. That is to encourage our members. I also know that we had also given discounts during the COVID year and others, debt forgiveness. That is to ensure that members are not hindered due to financial issues. But beyond that, membership engagement, what we have planned is to begin to see how we can encourage branches to begin to form what we will call branch cooperative. Because like I said, what is in it for you? What is in it for me? Usually you find members who face financial challenges. In the past, we have tried to meet this need, but we also need a structured framework where members at the branches can access help, can begin to look at possibility. And we are going to think that through and see how that would work out so that members can have access to that, where we don't just attend meeting for meeting's sake. Also, if I drive back, most chapters already have study centers, including branches. And usually this is a platform for members, not just to participate and hone their skill. It's also an opportunity for them to earn funds, earn revenue for themselves. And that had worked very well. When I was a Papa chapter chairperson, we did that and it worked, and it's still there. I know that Island have their study center, Ikeja does. So we will keep encouraging more chapters. Ojo Badagry has their study center. Lekki Ekpe has their study center. We'll keep encouraging people to get active, because at that level, there is always opportunity financially, like you mentioned, not just networking and engaging and learning. you could also financially begin to get active and benefit from the institute. That is at that level, but we'll think of other sources and we welcome other ideas that may come up. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now, increasing the membership value proposition has been on the front burner, but it has not been achieved, unfortunately. What will you do to give members value for their commitment to the institutes?
All right. Thank you very much, Michelle. Let me start first of all for thanking our members of the institute. Bravo to you all. This is a member-driven organization, and our members have always been there, serving the institute pro bono, volunteering their resources, time, talent to serve the institute. Wherever CIPM is today, trust me, it's because of the commitment of our members. How do we give them value for their time? We have started with the IT project. You know that right now, it's all about technology. Not all about technology, but technology plays a big role to the value you can add. Most people, I for one, hate going to the bank these days. I for one, hate going to the market. So we tend to bring easy access to our members via the technology project, and that have kickstarted. Trust me, when that is done, they can have access to a lot of value, a lot of resources and tools to hone their skill. I sit back here and I get tools. I read up what is happening everywhere, hone my skill on HR. They are going to get that from their own beloved institute. I promise them that. Beyond that, we are looking at other things. The president just mentioned membership loyalty card that have already started, and some people know that already. We are beginning to talk to organizations to see how we can give our members this value that they will get from other sources. People have also mentioned in pro bono learning trainings, our members will definitely get rewarded. The insurance scheme, we are seeing how we can imbibe that into our subscription. It's going to come at a cost, but it's not a cost we will regret paying for. It's something that will add value to the institute. So like I said, we would be coming back with enhanced value proposition, and trust me, members are going to be rewarded for their commitment. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, in this session, we'll be taking questions from all participants and members right here on this virtual interface. Remember to send your questions via the Q&A box and not the chat box, all right? So our first question is from Bosun Oluwumi, who's saying, "Dear Madam Chidima, your experience in council is not in doubt. Well done for the great job. However, I noticed that the course fees of the institute has astronomically gone up. In this challenging income drought, we find it difficult to attend the MCPE training due to the costs."
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Cost. First, let me say this. I understand the economic situation, but I know that the cost of our programs have not increased, aside from the conference, the annual conference, that prices are fixed every year. The MCPEs have remained that same cost for several years now. If you compare that to the rate of inflation, you will agree with me that, in fact, at this point, we are running at a loss. If we are running a 3-day course for 70,000, that's the cost of our training, except for a few that come at 90, 180, those are specialized programs. If you ask me, I would think that, are we really being fair to the institute by still charging 70? Well, it's your institute, you will say. But what we will do, coming from this feedback, what we have also thought of before now, and we will then drive, is to see how we can have other subsidized courses so that members can access them at affordable cost. And it won't be so much of a financial burden on our members. We will do that. But I would not, I have my concerns when we say that the cost of our programs have been increasing. Just for the annual national conference, the other courses, we know they've not been increasing. They've been 70,000, they've been 90,000. And sometimes, honestly, if you check the cost of running these programs, we pay faculty, we pay for the venue, we pay for feeding. At the end of the day, there's nothing left for your beloved institute to sustain on. So we may begin to look at more subsidized courses that will run for a day in place of the MCPE, while the MCPE is still run, because you agree that the faculty, the value we bring by those MCPE, other institutions like LBS and things like that charge 200, charge 300. But because this is a member-driven organization, we are conscious of our members. We are conscious that we have to give benefit to our members, and that's why that cost have remained at that amount up till now. But you will also agree that it's not sustainable. That will, if we'll be honest with each other, it's not sustainable. We need to look at how to work on that. Thank you, Michelle.
All right, thank you. Abdulaziz Abubakar is saying, what are the future strategies you intend to implement to accommodate foreign or overseas potential members using the foreign currencies to pay?
We're already doing that. For our 2022 ICA, there's a dollar rate to that. So we already do that. People can pay in dollars, you can pay in foreign currencies. And when our app comes up, it will be much, much easier. So we are doing that already. We are accommodating them. Considering that our conference is even virtual or hybrid, that means we expect people to log on from all over the world as far as it can go. We also expect them to make payments, and that is already happening. Thank you.
Thank you. Zachary Itodo is saying, what are the plans to partner with organizations so that anytime one attains a level, it reflects on their remuneration and benefits from their various organizations? I think this question is very critical because people would love to go to the next level to get more recognition or get more remuneration. But what is your plan to partner with organizations so that anytime a member attains a new level with the institute, it reflects in the recognition or remuneration and benefits from their various organizations?
Well, good question. Thank you. And very dicey question at that. One thing I must say is that when it comes to reward, there are industry standards. But like some people will say, pockets, affordability also matters. We have corporate members, and we will keep pushing our advocacy, letting organizations know best practices in terms of payment, in terms of perks for employees. I'm not sure CIPM can dictate what an employee in a particular industry can pay. However, what we will say is that we would advocate, we will push our advocacy, we will make sure that we create awareness of our certification so that when someone moves from being an ACIPM to being a full member or a fellow, and the person presents the certificate, I know that most organizations know that the person will be recognized for that and rewarded to commensurate with that level. However, like we will keep discussing our CIPM and you at various programs, it's just to enlighten, the radio show is just to enlighten organizations, and we'll keep reaching out to them. We have some who are already corporate members, and there are benefits to that. We'll reach out to more and begin to also educate them to understand the benefits that come with our certificate. But we also know that you must add value as a member, as a practitioner. Sometimes this thing doesn't come with certificate, it comes with the value we are able to add. And what we provide for you here at CIPM is opportunity to hone your skill, opportunity to add value so that you'll be recognized even at your place of work. And employers will pay for the value, but we'll keep doing more, we'll keep pushing, and we'll keep making sure that our institute, our brand, it's about brand visibility, is recognized enough out there so that our certificate will definitely bring in more pay, more perks for our members. Thank you.
All right, thank you. What plans do you have? This is a question from Dr. Solomon Ihidero. What plans do you have in place to expand the opportunities for corporate membership as a veritable avenue for more revenue generation? A more robust feedback will be appreciated on this.
Fine. As I said, right now we have corporate membership, but we are reaching out. Beyond partnering with institutions, we are also partnering with private organizations. We are doing that through various ways, and there are benefits. For instance, we also offer them perks, which we encourage them. And what we have started, what we have actually tasked the secretariat to do is to write to more organizations to keep pushing and getting more. I believe that with the discounts they get, because we have a lot of perks for them, discount on conference, discount on training, discount on even implants that we offer and other services that CIPM offer. They also have access to the institute when it comes to consultancy services. Having said that, the best we can do is to push our awareness and reach out to more members. And a lot of them are getting in touch with us, requesting for criteria, wanting to know how much they can become corporate members and partner with us. I believe that as soon as we are able to conclude our projects, as soon as we are able to be out there, increase our brand, we'll reach out to a lot of them, and more of them would also be able to partner with us. But we are working on that. Honestly, we are taking your feedback, and we are going to do more in ensuring that we get more corporate members to align with the Institute. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. We have a question here saying, well done, Madam Chidima. Can we have a virtual or hybrid MCPE course at a reduced cost?
That is already ongoing. Thank you, Mitchell. That has happened. During the COVID year, we did it, 2020, 2021. We are only just returning back to physical. And we can do that. We'll look at that. Noted. We'll take that feedback back to the Institute and see how we can work more of that on that. Thank you.
All right. Here is a suggestion from Dr. Solomon saying sales of CIPM insignia could be a source of revenue generation. Beyond annual conferences, what other avenues are available to purchase the CIPM crests, emblems, etc.?
Okay. The Institute have a bookshop. And I believe that with these days of online and delivery, if we reach out to the Institute, we have souvenirs, we have a lot of items, memorabilia for CIPM there in the bookshop, and they are always restocking. So if we reach out to them on the CIPM number, they'll be able to deliver even across locations. I also know that we have zonal branches, and zonal branches can coordinate that, but we'll also look at that. Thank you, Dr. Solomon, for that. We'll see how we can push that further. Thank you.
All right. What is the plan for student members who are unemployed and would like to engage by being a part of full-time job via our institute? For people who would love to work for the CIPM, who are currently student members and are unemployed at the same time. Is there room for them?
Okay. There is room for them, I would say. One is that record that they are not experienced. But what they could look at is to assess volunteerism and internship, which the Institute already do. If they approach the Institute and approach members, that is why they should also, as students, they should also get involved at the chapter level and at the branch level. Because when they approach members, there will be opportunity for internship. And I know that there are paid internship. One, recall that they don't have experience. So nobody will be asked to engage them as permanent staff or as regular employees. But as student members, they would also be able to get opportunities to internship, unless they are saying they are student members and they have started working already. They are already engaged as HR people, or they have worked, they have experience, but have just gone back to become student members. That's, like we said, there are platforms for that. The chapters, the branches provide ample opportunity. And I know that if they walk into the secretariat, their own secretariat, and request for opportunity to volunteer and other opportunities, that will be made available. Thank you, Mitchell.
Thank you. Our last question is coming from an anonymous attendee who's saying there is a big disconnect between the Institute and young upcoming professionals who are members. How is CIPM investing some of its funds in the development of these young HR professionals?
Maybe before now, if we say there is a big disconnect, I would agree, but we are beginning to bridge that gap. Mitchell. We are beginning to bridge that gap in the sense that there have been a lot of engagement, and we have a lot of the members, the young ones, the millennials, as part of the team at various levels, at the chapter level, at the branch level, even at the national level. We have a lot of them in the committees doing great things. They are part of the committee. I have a millennial chairing one of the ad hoc committee, that's the communication and brand committee. So the millennials are there doing great things. How are we investing? The Ready to Market program is a free one. Most of our programs are pro bono. And I will encourage the young ones to access that, because it's a platform for them to engage. It's a platform for them to get to know what CIPM is doing and how they can relate. So, and a platform for them who are not, those of them who are not employed and not experienced, to also get, in my organization, I have recruited like 3 ready to market people who I retained after the internship in our organization. So I think that is they have a lot of platform for the young one, and we'll keep engaging them. The president, as we all know, is very passionate about the young ones. He won't say anything. The coaching and mentoring, that is another thing we haven't talked so much about, and that's a key project of this administration. So going forward, we are going to put a lot. There is a committee dedicated to coaching and mentoring, both for the younger ones and what we will call reverse mentoring. And they have started building up their framework. Before you know, you will see a lot that they will be doing out there. And there will be a lot of funds going on there. There are a lot of platforms. I know that one of our ECM is also anchoring the one on professionalization, making the young ones the CEO in an organization. That project we are also driving. We've not seen much of it, but this next 12 months, we are going to be seeing a lot of that happening. So the young ones should just look out for us and be ready for us, because we are going to engage them big time. Thank you.
All right. Last question is from Hama Kwajafa, who's saying, can the upgrade to the rank of fellow be streamlined? People have reached the zenith of their careers. People who have reached the zenith of their careers be considered. Let me take that again. Can the upgrade to the rank of fellow be streamlined? People that have reached the zenith of their careers be considered?
I don't get that question clearly, but I will attempt.
Can people that have reached the zenith of their careers be considered? Again, can the upgrade of to the rank of a fellow be streamlined?
Okay, Mitchell, let me attempt that question. First and foremost, to be a member, to be a fellow of CIPM, the person must be a member. And that person would as well, it's embedded in our charter. It's not something you can tweak with. You would have spent 6 years as an associate to become a full member, and then 7 years to be a fellow. Now, that is as a full member. And that is aside from being actively involved in both the institute, in the profession, adding value, meeting up, achieving milestones. All that are what we put into consideration to award anybody a fellow in our institute.
Okay.
Getting to the zenith of one's profession, we do not dash fellowship. So the person still needs to apply and be a member of the institute, would have been a full member before being a fellow. It cannot be automatic because someone is an MD CEO of an organization or chief head of HR. I'm sorry, our institute would not give, as at today, I'm aware that unless that changes tomorrow, we would not give fellow just like that without going through the right process. Now, we have opportunities for people like that who are very experienced and have done so much in their industry to come in through the executive route. And that route gives you opportunity to become a full member. So in 7 years after being a full member, the person can become a fellow. But that is a decision for council if they want to do any sort of alignment. But this will be my response for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Chidima Obejesi, MCIPM, current National Treasurer of the institution. We thank you for participating, for sharing your manifesto and selling us what we should expect in the nearest future. At this junction, I would like to yield the mic to Mrs. Oji, who is the chairman of the Electoral Committee, to end the election today.
Thank you very much, Michelle, our moderator for today, for the yeoman's job you've done in ensuring that this virtual debate is not only lively, but highly interactive. And that as much as possible, most of the questions that have been put forward by our members were thrown to the contestants. I would like to thank our current leadership, who are also our contestants for the first day of the virtual debate, for participating. The President and Chairman of Council of our Institute, Mr. Mujid, the Vice FCIPM, is a fellow, Mr. Henry Nwapo, the Vice President of our Institute, MCIPM, our National Treasurer, Mrs. Chidimma Obiejesi, and I want to acknowledge the presence of our elected council members, current elected council members who are on the platform with us today for joining us. All our esteemed fellows, of the Institute, and my dear professional colleagues, members of our great institute. It's been a very informative and highly educative session, listening into our leaders who are also our contestants for the day. So we thank you all. I want to thank the members of the Electoral Committee who are here with us, made up of Mr. Ike Alenke, FCIPM, the Vice Chairman of the committee. We have Mrs. Adeshagon, who is MCIPM, who is here with us. We also have Mr. Henry Awodele, FCIPM, a member of the team. Mr. Malam Aminu Yao, MCIPM, a member of our team. Mr. Emmanuel Anibata, MCIPM, a member of the team. Mrs. Bola Onime, MCIPM, a member of our team. And Mr. Sheung, who is also a member, Oluseun Ademoku, ACIPM, who is also a member of our team. And most importantly, Mrs. Bukola Olasoji, the technical assistant to our team. I would also like to thank the IT, headed by Mr. Peter Clark and Mr. Benga, representing the Institute, and all the stakeholders who have been here with us for the past 2 to 3 hours, I should say, because the session earlier with the Electoral Committee members. Virtual debate. And please, I just want to remind you that tomorrow is the second and final day for the virtual debates, this time around for elective council positions. And I'm sure we are also going to have a great day with Mitchell moderating. So I would like you to please join us same time, and thereafter at 4 p.m. tomorrow, 21st of April, 2022, all campaigns would cease and the e-voting platform will be, the e-voting portal will be open for the e-voting to commence. Thank you once again to each and every one of you for making it a great day for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lady Oji.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Mitchell, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Wonderful
much.
coordination.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So see you tomorrow.
We'll be back tomorrow for a more competitive debate. So everyone, please come.
What happened today? Today is competition.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, everyone. My chair. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, President.
Thank you, everyone. Bye then.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.